Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be discussing my top 10 science fiction books being released in 2025. I just discussed my top 10 thriller books that are being released, so I'm just super pumped for this year and all of the new books that are coming out. So I am going to be discussing these books in month release date order. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. The first book is Symbiote by Michael Nayak, and expected release date is February 11th. In this book, World War III is currently raging, and there's a group of Americans at the South Pole that are doing research. One day, a group of Chinese researchers show up with a dead man in their trunk. With no clear jurisdiction, the Americans don't know what to do, but it doesn't matter because 72 hours later, 13 others are dead, and they have been murdered in these aggressive, senseless, horrific acts of violence. What they realize is that the dead man in the trunk brought with him a parasite that is always evolving, and it is spread by touch, and it also allows people to have superhuman strength as well as violent tendencies. This team of researchers doesn't have any hope for rescue because of where they're located in the South Pole, so they have to deal with all of the people around them that are becoming infected by this parasite. But unfortunately, it's even more sinister than they originally thought because it starts to, as it evolves, create with those it's infected a type of symbiote telepathy. Next, we have Future's Edge by Garath L. Powell, and expected release date is February 25th. In this book, we're following an archaeologist named Ursula Morrow, and on a mission one day, she accidentally infects herself with an alien parasite, and she thinks that this is the end of her career, but it actually doesn't even matter because shortly after, Earth is completely destroyed and billions die. 2 years later, Ursula is residing on a backwater refugee camp. She is plucked from this planet and tasked with retrieving the artifact that infected her because it might hold the key to humanity's survival. This artifact can be weaponized, and the enemy has actually realized this. Ursula comes to understand that this weapon is on this backwater planet, and it is in hostile territory. So she has to risk everything in order to venture into enemy territory to rescue this artifact and hopefully save humanity. If you are enjoying this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as well as giving this video a like to throw this channel a little bit of support. Most of the viewers that watch my videos are not subscribed, so I would love if you guys hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss future uploads from me. Next, we have Shroud by Adrian Tchaikovsky, and expected publication is February 27th. In this book, planets and new moons are constantly being discovered, and they are considered assets to these interplanetary opportunists who like to go to these new planets to strip them of resources. One day, a commercial mission to a distant star system reveals a moon that is pitch black but very, very alive with radioactivity. It is high gravity, high pressure, zero oxygen, which is not conducive to supporting life, but it is ripe for exploration, and it is named Shroud. Under no circumstances should a human end up on Shroud's inhospitable surface, but unfortunately a catastrophic event leads two characters, Juna and Mai, on the surface of Shroud. Forced to stage an emergency landing, they do have a surface vehicle that is barely adequate, and they are unable to contact their ship. What follows is a grueling journey across air, sea, and land, and they come into contact with Shroud's dominant species. They begin to understand this species as they spend time with it, but on the flip side, this alien species begins to understand the humans. If these two people escape Shroud, they will have to explain to this interplanetary profiteering group that there is life on Shroud. They'll have to explain the impossible to people that are only interested in stripping the moon of its resources. Next, we have the fourth Consort by Edward Ashton. Expected release date is February 25th. This one I am very excited for because I've read Mickey 7, Antimatter Blues, and Mal Goes to War by Edward Ashton, and he's just a really fun science fiction author, and his books are normally on the shorter side. In this book, we are following a character named Dalton, and Dalton is considered a hero because he is humankind's first representative to an organization called Unity. Unity is a pan-species confederation that is looking to bring all sentient species into a type of benevolent brotherhood. As Dalton gets more invested in Unity, he realizes that it's not all it's cracked up to be. The only members he's met is a character named Barreau, who is a giant snail, and a woman who is his sidekick, and neither of them can be trusted. Funny thing is, there actually is a benevolent confederation out there, but it's not Unity, it is called Assembly, and Assembly does not like humans. One day, an encounter between Barrow's scout ship and an Assembly cruiser ends extremely badly. Dalton finds himself marooned and he doesn't have any allies around him. He has the Assembly's troops, he has Mira, which is Barrow the snail's sidekick, and the snail himself, as well as the species of this new world in which he finds himself marooned. The most dangerous of them all might actually be Mira because she seems to be hiding secrets of her own. Dalton must learn to navigate on this new planet's palace intrigue, alien palace intrigue, as well as alien morality, and a proposal that he absolutely cannot refuse. Next, we have Dissolution by Nicholas Bing. Expected release date is March 25th. We are following a main character named Maggie, and for the last decade, she has been caring for her elderly husband, who unfortunately has been slowly losing his memories, and this has been extremely hard on Maggie. One day, a mysterious stranger named Hassan shows up at Maggie's door and informs her that her husband Stanley is not losing his memories, but someone is actively going in and stealing them to keep a long, hidden secret from surfacing. If Maggie does what she's told, she can reverse this and bring her husband back. Led by Hassan and his technological advancements, Maggie delves into her husband's past in an attempt to save him. The more that she digs, the more Maggie unveils a mystery that spans not only centuries but continents. But she doesn't know if she can trust Hassan because not only are memories disappearing, but bits of reality itself. If Maggie cannot find out what Stanley did and put all the pieces together, she risks far more than her husband's life because the course of the entire universe hangs in the balance. Next, we have The Third Rule of Time Travel by Philip Fracassi. Expected publication date is March 1st. In this book, we're following scientist Beth Darlow, and she has discovered a way to allow human consciousness to time travel. So people can go back in time to view events that they have already been through, but they cannot alter these events, they can only observe them. After Beth's husband Coulson dies in a tragic car accident, and Coulson was the co-creator of this time machine, Beth is left to raise their daughter by herself. But she's not letting Coulson's death affect her drive, and she's dedicated to continuing the work that they started, pushing even to the unexplored frontiers of this new technology. She begins to use this new technology on her own life, but with each new observation, each time she goes into the past and observes a part of her life, that type of memory begins to warp. With her reality constantly changing and shifting, Beth is forced to try and go back and reverse everything that she's done, but she doesn't even know if this is possible. Beth's creation of this technology, her attempts to use it on her own life, could have irrevocable consequences. Next, we have Where the Axe is Buried by Ray Naylor, and expected publication date is the 1st of April. In this world, we are following an authoritarian federation, and there have been assassination attempts on the current president because what the current president has done has downloaded his consciousness into a bunch of different bodies to ensure that he can't be killed. In Western Europe, humankind has forfeited human leadership, and they have decided to create an AI prime minister to run Western Europe, and that is currently malfunctioning and setting off a series of events that is going to infect the entire part of Western Europe. We are following a character named Lilia, a scientist. She has an invention that could potentially bring down the current immortal president of the Federation, and she is on the run from the Federation because they have been tracking her. Her fate is tied to a group of rebel-type people who are trying to go against the AI control as well as the president of the Federation. With the help of these misfits, will Lilia and her group of rebels be able to infiltrate these two different authoritarian-type leaders and bring equilibrium and peace back to Europe? Next, we have Polybius by Collin Armstrong. Expected release date is the 29th of April. We are following high schooler Andy, and she has just moved to this seaside town with her mother, but the only thing on Andy's mind is saving up enough money to move to Silicon Valley, so she decides to take a part-time job at this old arcade. Pining over Andy is a character named Ro. He is the son of this town's sheriff, and in order to spend more time with her, he also decides to take a job at this arcade. Andy finds herself opening up to Ro, surprisingly. One day, this arcade receives a new game, and suddenly it is flooded with players trying to play this new game. Seemingly overnight, a virus-type epidemic sweeps through the town, and there are also these unusual coastal storms that are coming in, and the town is suddenly isolated from other towns around it because of these two acts of Mother Nature. Once isolated, the people of this town start to experience bouts of paranormal, fits, violence, hallucinations, and when one especially heinous act of violence goes unchecked, the town erupts into chaos. Andy and Ro decide to take this matter into their own hands because everyone seems to have gone insane. They want to get to the bottom of this spiraling madness, but unfortunately, the strange effects of what's going on start to affect them too. Next, we have Cold Eternity by S.A. Barnes. Expected release date is April 8th. In this book, we're following a character named Hallie, and a huge interplanetary scandal has placed a huge target on her back. So Hallie decides to flee, and she ends up fleeing to a space barge that is housing cryogenically frozen people, and they are some of the wealthiest people in this universe. The ship and its Cairo program are long defunct, and Hallie starts to think that she sees things, hears things in the ship, and wonders if she's actually alone or not, or if something is alive and stalking her on the ship where she is the only living being besides the frozen people. Hallie realizes that she may have gotten herself trapped in a more dangerous situation than she was actually running from. Then we have Overgrowth by Mira Grant. Expected release date is May 6th. And Mira Grant is another pen name for Seanan McGuire, if you all did not know that. I've only read one Seanan McGuire book, and that was Middle Game. Wasn't a huge fan of it, but I've been wanting to read some of her horror sci-fi stories because they do sound really interesting. Ever since she was 3 years old, Anastasia Miller has been telling people that she is an alien in disguise, and that the alien armada that left her on Earth will be coming back for her, but no one's listened. Now an alien signal has been intercepted and is being broadcast across the entire world. Humanity is starting to realize that the thing that they have feared, the thing that they have been warned about, might be coming to fruition. The invasion is coming, and Anastasia's family is going to bring her back from Earth, but it's a little odd that an alien species would be willing to cross the vast expanse of space just for one misplaced child. So there's more to Anastasia, more to the story, more to this alien signal than humans could ever guess. Okay, you guys, those are my top 10 anticipated science fiction book releases for 2025. Let me know in the comments which one of these you're most excited for, or if there is a release that I didn't discuss that's coming out in 2025 that you're super pumped about. I would love to hear your recommendations. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye!